Covers are important. They always say don't judge a book by its cover, but everyone does that, so you don't want your book cover to be a giant white background with black Times New Roman font that says book. Although maybe that could go viral for how stupid it is, but that's a whole other thing. Video game covers are pretty important too. You want your cover to stand out to the kid who will beg to his mom to get it until he is crying and wailing and shitting and pissing on the floor. It's like a movie poster. Everyone soy jacks when they look at Star Wars, so you want your video game cover to do that too. Now, obviously the video game cover alone does not dictate how a game does. It's not like Pokemon sells more because of this dog shit Sword and Shield cover art. Pokemon sells because of its absolute nutsack chokehold on advertising and nostalgia. The cover is sort of the last line of defense. Usually a game does well because of marketing and good press and cool trailers and whether or not you can pet the dog. If some streamer like Northernlion plays your roguelike, then you're set. If he doesn't, then good luck. Your epic cover won't change the entire tide. But that cover is that last chance, that last hope that the one ignorant weeaboo in GameStop will buy your game because there's a big anime ass on the cover. The dude at Best Buy who's like, holy shit, Bayonetta ass poggers, and picks it up solely because of that, bringing it home to his semen-encrusted game room in the basement. That's why the cover doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I mean, the highest selling video game of all time doesn't even have a cover. You just downloaded Minecraft on this sketchy website in 2012 and called it a day. It could be a game, could be a Trojan. That's how downloading worked on the internet back then. Call of Duty doesn't have good video game covers typically, but they do well anyway. Video game covers mostly just matter to little freaks like me who need to make YouTube videos to afford the electricity bill this month, and then collectors who'd spend more time touching their video games than they do grass. So, for fun, let's take a look at what makes a cool video game cover and what makes a bad one, and maybe some examples that will hopefully make Redditors' mouths pry agape, because god, I need more stinky IT guys who make six figures browsing YouTube videos at work to watch my videos. Now, I have to be honest, video game covers really might have peaked on day one, because some of these early Atari video game covers had more content than the games themselves. Super Breakout's cover looks like I'm ascending to the fifth plane of existence while playing it, but the actual game by today's standards is something you wouldn't even want to play on your phone bored in the middle of the desert with nothing to do. I mean, these covers are genuinely badass and movie poster quality. Asteroids looks like a Star Wars poster, like a cut movie scene where Darth Vader gets really pissed and takes it out on some asteroids in a fit of baby rage. Slot Racers, Warlords, I mean, I have to think people pick these games up expecting a movie masterpiece only to go home thoroughly disappointed that their toaster had better gameplay than these. But goddamn, the covers were awesome. I mean, 3D tic-tac-toe, this game sucks ass, but this art makes me think we're only a couple days away from the release of the flying car. Air-Sea Battle? Like, damn, I'm pro-war now. They weren't all hits, though. I mean, Pitfalls looks like Microsoft Word clip art. Funnily enough, this is probably one of the more fun games on the Atari. Maybe that's how it worked. The worse the game, the more money they spent jacking up the cover's quality, hoping they could lure some sucker. I mean, Pac-Man is fun, and that cover looks like he's doing an ad integration for Chiclet Gum. NES game covers varied. You'd have some classics like Mario dressing up in his raccoon fursuit, but a lot of the covers would just feature this reoccurring pixel format. In all fairness, this is a lot better representation of what lies inside the cartridge. At least now, if I buy baseball, I know it'll look like the inside of my ass and not a real MLB game. There were some cool covers in the 80s though, man, like Gradius. I'm a sucker for that retro futurism stuff. Some covers really miss the mark though, like this Mega Man cover. Looks like Mega Man needs to take a shit. There's also this Donkey Kong cover, which features DK with rabies fighting Clark Kent and his Torbjorn hammer. And, you know, this Pac-Man cover, which gives Pac-Man a body. Worst thing I've seen all year. Hammer and Harry looks like he's been hammering himself on the head one too many times. Final Zone 2 featuring David Bowie on the right and Donald Trump in a purple sex robot. Golden Axe is nearly T-posing. Druid Daemons of the Mind will never escape my mind, unfortunately. And what the hell is this guy doing on these skis on the cover of Winter Games? Bro, you are dead. What is that for? I'm pretty sure he's launching off of the skis onto the edge of the map Smash Brothers style to lose his last stock. After the 80s, I have to admit the 90s also had some bangers. I feel like the reason these covers were so cool back then is that it was more of a physical experience. Nowadays, people get these tiny Switch cases that get lost under the couch, or they just buy a game digitally and it doesn't matter anyway. Back then, the SNES, for example, that shit came locked down in a vault of plastic foam and cardboard. It was more secure than your money in a bank. It was this big-ass cardboard box that you ripped up to shreds and threw away, not knowing Earthbound would be worth $1 billion in present year. So I think the box art mattered a little more. Like, seeing Super Metroid at the store must have have been pretty cool. Doom on Super Nintendo. Bill Lame Beer's Combat Basketball's cover. Didn't have to go so hard, man. Super Frog on the Amiga CD. In the new 3D era of games that emerged, I think we can all agree there's some nostalgia here in these covers. You know, Super Smash Brothers and Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie looks so fucking cool. Unfortunately, this also meant you had to look at Milo's Astro Lanes and the DeviantArt Nightmare Big Mountain 2000. Bust a Move 3D DX's UK cover looks like a McDonald's ball pit after one too many kids had unleashed their bladders upon it. The UK also had this game Center Court Tennis, which is making me nauseous looking at it. Tennis at light speed doesn't sound very fun. And who could forget about Cyber Tiger, where Tiger Woods is ready to jump out of the box and devour me Attack on Titan style. I mean, some of these were terrifying. Like, yeah, Harvest Moon 64, cute as fuck, but Iggy's Wrecking Balls? No thanks, Iggy. You can keep your balls far, far away from me. Also, on NFL QB Club 2001, Brett Favre is anamorphing into a bigger Brett Favre. And I'm pretty sure this kid on the cover of Razor Freestyle Scooter is about to crash into a brick wall and explode. But as we got into the 21st century, things got kind of fun and wild. You know, when they started printing 100 Wii games a second, you could go to the bargain bin in Walmart and pull out a copy of Russell Grant's Astrology for $1. They might even pay you to take it out of there. I mean, Chager's Party Quiz. Chager, with all due respect. Actually, zero respect. Please escape. To the gulag. Goodbye. Carnage Rally? I mean, what the hell is this? That dude is definitely about to die. Ah, Snow White and the Seven Clever Boys for the PS2, my favorite horror game. The Wii really did pump out terrible games like crazy though, and you could tell the covers weren't exactly a point of interest. My Ballet Studio, Girls Life Sleepover Party, Let's Paint, Jerry Rice and Nidus's Dog Football. How is that a video game? Who convinced Jerry Rice this was a good idea? Now, there are a lot of really good video game covers, but something that is really interesting is that a lot of the really cool ones, and I mean a lot of them, are covers for the Japanese version of the games. For whatever reason, back in the day, once they brought a game over to the States, they would completely neuter the cover. I guess in Japan, covers could look vibrant, fun, and filled to the brim with charm, but the American covers had to look like a sterilized appointment room at a doctor's office. Everything had to look like a Nerf football. Some differences are really funny, like Kirby's Air Ride for the GameCube. In Japan, Kirby is happy to ride. In America, Kirby wants to commit second-degree murder. God, Japanese covers often look so much better, though. My personal favorites are the Mario Party games. They all look so damn pretty. Mario Party 2's cover is filled to the brim with excitement. It looks like a kid's playroom, whereas Mario Party 2's cover in the States is a little less intriguing. I mean, it still looks cool, just nowhere near as good. In Japan, the Pokemon games would get actual new logos every time instead of just that same old Pokemon logo plastered on each new game in the States. I mean, a lot of the box art design fundamentals are just better in Japan. The Game Boy Advance logo in America is pretty ugly in my opinion on the box, and it takes up a big portion of it too. In Japan, a lot of the Nintendo games would have box art where the game's art could spread around the whole box, making it look a lot more colorful. The Japanese covers for N64 games in particular were badass, and I feel like part of it is that the cover took up more space. Yoshi's Story is really cute. The Zelda N64 games have badass art. Sometimes Americans got the better cover though. I mean, I'd rather have the Earthbound guy showing me his robot alien cock than the red cover art in Japan, although that's pretty iconic too. Nowadays, I just feel like video game cover art might not be hitting as hard as often, but maybe that's just nostalgia speaking. There just isn't as much emphasis on it, I feel, but sometimes there's some bangers. I really like the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate cover art. I think it's pretty colorful and fun. But you can fuck right off with Lego Harry Potter Collection Remastered for the Nintendo Switch. This looks about as lifeless as Ohio. Bring back cool cover art, man. I like cool art. Even if it's just a cool banner on the Steam page, like for Cult of the Lamb, at least put some effort in. It makes my dumb idiot brain make dopamine. Anyway, ad time because I need money.
This video is brought to you by Established Titles.
Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while also helping the environment like a real Chad. You're just like Shrek. You get to actually call yourself a lord without doing all the unethical things yours and my landlord does to us. You're able to get a title pack to give you lordship over 1 square feet of actual dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland. You even get a certificate with a unique plot number to show your exact location of land, a great piece of conserved land where Established Titles will grow a tree with every order. They work around the world with global charities to support global reforestation efforts. I mean, imagine how awesome it would look to put Lord in your Tinder dating profile. It also makes for a good gift. For example, my cat is now literally a lord. That's right, Lord Kiwi. My cat owns a plot of land. I will not let her visit it because she will destroy all the wildlife and become the apex predator. Regardless, the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next next to my plot, within a few minutes of walking distance. Together we will build an Aztrosist empire. It's just like Minecraft. It makes an amazing last-minute gift, and Established Titles is actually running a Black Friday sale right now, their biggest sale of the year, so if you use the code ASTRO, AZTRO, you can get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/astro to get your gifts now and help support the channel. Thanks.